Hey everybody, it's GammaLad, and welcome to another discussion video. With the recent Nintendo Direct that just happened lately, a lot of people are hyped for different things, like the new Super Smash Bros. Game, the Splatoon 2 expansion, and so much more. Me, on the other hand, what caught my attention the most was Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS. For those of you who don't know, Luigi's Mansion was one of my first Let's Plays I did on this channel back about in 2012, 2013, and that game and the series itself has a special place in my heart. So when I first saw this game, I had nothing but a positive reaction. But the more I thought about it, the more I had questions about why this game is happening on the 3DS. While I see both sides to why it is on the 3DS, I still can't help but be puzzled by it. So let's first talk about my initial reaction for the game. When I first saw it at the Nintendo Direct, I nearly lost it. Like I mentioned earlier, Luigi's Mansion is one of my favorite games, and it was actually one of the first video games I ever played. So to see it get a remake on the 3DS, I was actually quite pleased to see it. I actually remember buying the 3DS just so I can get Luigi's Mansion 2, so seeing that I'll be able to have both games on the same system makes it come full circle. Even though I personally was let down by Luigi's Mansion 2, but that's a topic for another video. So I guess the next question I need to ask myself, am I excited for Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS? Yes and no. I was excited at first when I saw the trailer for the game. I was almost screaming, jumping out of my seat because wow, Luigi's Mansion's coming back for the 3DS, and I thought, okay, that's an okay fit. Since Luigi's Mansion 2 is on the 3DS, putting the first game kind of made sense, so people have the chance to play 1 and 2 on the same handheld system. Sadly, the more I watched the trailer, the more the cracks became obvious. By this I mean, the game is just too bright. In the original Luigi's Mansion, what really sold the game to me was the dark atmosphere. Sure, it had its comedic undertones, but overall, it was a pretty dark and dreary game, and honestly, to a younger me, it was quite scary at times. Even to this day, when I explore the mansion when playing the game, it still feels unsettling and just downright creepy sometimes. But when I see the gameplay on the 3DS, it feels like all that atmosphere is just gone and out the window, and it just feels too bright. This could be due to the fact that we're seeing it on a big screen, where it's meant to be shown on a 240p screen, so for all we know, the finished product could look a lot better. But the trailer for the game really didn't do it any justice in my opinion. But besides all of that, I'm still excited to play the game again. Now thanks to this game, it has sparked a bit of an age-old debate. Switch versus 3DS. Should Nintendo keep making games for the 3DS despite the Switch being their focus of a console? Well, I personally think more 3DS games is not inherently a bad thing. The 3DS still has a pretty large market share, and every year the system just keeps selling more and more. So Nintendo putting out more software for the user base that's constantly growing makes a lot of sense from a business perspective. However, what puzzled me the most is why this game is a 3DS exclusive. Games like Mario & Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story for the 3DS, that made sense because that game looked like it made more use of the 3DS's capabilities than, say, the Switch would. But then we saw later in that Direct, we saw games like Captain Toad getting a Nintendo Switch and 3DS release. So I had to wonder, why didn't this game get a Switch and 3DS release? I have no problem with these dual releases as it gives more people a chance to play these games. It just really felt puzzling. The only reason I could think as to why they didn't port it to the Switch, or at least remake it in HD for the Switch, is because the game was probably extremely cheap to make for the 3DS. I remember that back in 2011, Shigeru Miyamoto said that Luigi's Mansion was originally ported to the 3DS as a way to test the system's 3D feature. As remember, the 3DS, or sorry, not the 3DS, Luigi's Mansion was supposed to be a 3D game on the GameCube, but that mechanic was scrapped because at the time, 3D TVs cost more than the GameCube itself. So it wouldn't have been a good investment to try and get people to buy a TV just to play one game. So it jumping to the 3DS makes sense on that perspective, and also because the game potentially could have already existed. I don't know if I can find the article where Miyamoto mentioned that. I remember seeing it a long time ago, and I tried finding it again. The original source on, I think it was on their Yahoo Gaming Technology, it was completely gone, so I'll have to try digging for it and put it down in the description. But as far as I'm aware, this game was ported to the 3DS in some capacity. So them finishing this port and putting it out as a finished game made a lot of sense because, okay, it's cheap. The problem I have with this game is that, well, does this mean that Nintendo may not look into bringing this game to the Nintendo Switch now that it exists on the 3DS? Because honestly, I feel like if Nintendo were to take the time to remake Luigi's Mansion from the ground up with the same mechanics of the first game for the Nintendo Switch in HD, that would probably be one of the best games on the system, and honestly, it would be a real visual treat to see a comedic yet horror-esque game on the system like that starring Luigi. For me, the biggest takeaway from all this is that a Luigi's Mansion 3 could be on the horizon. I mean, Nintendo wouldn't just remake Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS out of the blue without having any plans for a future installment. I know there's been a lot of rumors out there that another Luigi's Mansion game will be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and well, you know, I'm one of those people who believe that if a lot of people are saying the same thing, there could be some credence behind it. So I like to believe this is a way to get Luigi's Mansion back into the spotlight, and try to push more sales of Luigi's Mansion 2. And then, later down the line, maybe we'll see something at E3 about this, a Luigi's Mansion 3 will be made for the Nintendo Switch. And honestly, the best case scenario after that would be to see, well, a Luigi's Mansion remade for the Switch, same thing with Luigi's Mansion 2. So if this is being used to hype up a Luigi's Mansion 3 around the corner sometime soon, I can only hope that Nintendo will use that opportunity to bring Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2 to the 3DS and remake it in the inevitable Luigi's Mansion 3 engine. Assuming they make a new engine for that and not use a revamped Dark Moon engine, but even if they did, I would still love to see 1 and 2 brought to the Switch. So yeah, that's my biggest takeaway from this whole thing, is that hey, we could be seeing a Luigi's Mansion 3 in the future. I'm just hoping that if we do see a 3, it's more like the first game than the second one. And there you have it, my overall thoughts on Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS. Personally, I'm not upset by it, I'm kind of disappointed because, again, who wouldn't want to see the first game remade on the Nintendo Switch? But I can understand why Nintendo went this course of action with it. It made sense from a business standpoint, and economically, it was cheap to make than to say rebuild the entire game for the Nintendo Switch. I'm willing to bet this game took no more than 6 months to fully port to the 3DS. So I'm not going to be one of those people who think that, oh no, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen to the Luigi's Mansion series. Grr, Nintendo, why would you do this? I like to look at it from a glass half full perspective. But while those are my thoughts, I would love to know yours on this. So by all means, leave them down in the comments section below. I would love to hear from you. And if you guys want to see me do more commentary videos like this in the future, well, not so much commentary and more so discussion, let me know. I'm really just sitting in front of a microphone and rambling off for 10 minutes and hoping I can make a coherent opinion. So yeah, also if you're new to my channel, just finding me out through this video, so hey, be sure to stick around and subscribe for future Let's Plays, reviews, commentaries, discussions, and more. And as always everyone, this is Gamalad signing off.